course I'm going live. And we are live. Hey everybody, welcome to another Friday night. Thanks everybody for coming. I'm just trying to get back to the external. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up.
Thanks for the
As
invite.
always. Hey,
Thank you.
thank you guys for being here. So tonight, oh look, I lost my thingy.
Uh-oh.
So tonight, everybody, T.I. Prepper's with us. We have Todd Mitch with us. We have, I'm just trying to get back to the external. We have the Fat Man with us. And I'm a rookie. And that's me.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so tonight, well, look, I lost my thingy. So tonight, everybody, T.I. Prepper's with us.
It's probably Frank because he walked off.
Yeah.
Todd Mitch with us. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to mute him. I'm just trying to get back to the. Yep, it was him. Good. I'll make fun of him instead of saying, because he didn't hear me say it was me. So, you know what I mean. So let me say this again. We have T.I. Prepper. We have Todd Mitch, none other than the Fat Man, and we have Diggin' Freedom, who will be joining us in just a second. He had to go see a man about a horse.
Howdy, howdy.
So, out in the chat room, Todd's in here with us now. We have Buddy Light, Buddy Hawaii. I hope you stuck around for us. The Fat Man's in here with us. Truth Freeze, welcome, thank you. Thank you for coming. Frank's in here. Gimpy Kawaya, good to see you. Swansea Searcher, Hawaii, good to see you. And I'm a Cockerham. How are you, brother?
How's it going out there, fellas and women?
All right. I still have a black screen on. Anybody else have a black screen on?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Well, I hit refresh. Hopefully, there we go. Okay. Now we're cooking with oil. All right. I did send out a couple more invites. T, I was actually going to ask you. Johnny's still doing work stuff, right? He's not at home.
Yeah, he might be home, but he's I'm sure he worked today, and I don't know where he's working, so he may not even be in town, or if he is out of town, he may be traveling.
Yeah, see, I thought he was out of town, so I didn't want to.
Yeah.
If he shows up in the thing and somebody sees him and I don't, just let me know.
Yeah. More than likely, he's still traveling because they hadn't moved yet.
Right. And I'll look him up with a link. That way there to be. But anyway, so tonight in the description box, if you guys saw the description box, it said that I'd like to talk about the shootings down there in South Carolina and things to make you go, Hey, Jason McDaniel, welcome. Thanks for coming. So here's my thing. I'm not down there with, you guys are down there. I'm not, obviously. Don't really have to be, I guess, but I said this after Sandy Hook. Okay, and it wasn't a very popular meeting. A bunch of people yelled at me for saying it, but it's okay. I'm a grown-ass man, and I'll take it. So, here's my thing. Frank, turn your volume down on your outside chat, please. This kid that walks into a church and kills these people during church. They're a church. Hey, sick man. They're a church. Yeah, he had some mental issues going on. And here's where I'm gonna cross into Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook, the mother knew the kid was sick. The mother knew the kid needed help. She really couldn't do much because he was 18. Okay? But here's what she could have done. And I'll say it again. She could have kept her guns at a friend's house anywhere, her local gun club, her local whatever. She chose not to. Now, does that mean it wasn't going to happen? No. This kid's father buys him a gun for his 21st birthday. You're going to sit there and tell me the kid's father didn't know he was sick. Okay? So now this kid walks into a church, and because he doesn't like the color of somebody's skin, he decides, you know what? Bang, 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 bang. And look at the chaos and everything else that this jackass causes. There's going to come a point in time, and no, this is not a, I'm well aware that it's not the gun's fault. Hopefully everybody out there watching and listening do also. Okay. However, I'm getting sick and tired of having a mass shooting where an individual is not all there, and I'm not making fun. I'm just saying the individual has some mental issues. A loved one knows about it, and a loved one doesn't take the weapons away. To me, if I was one of those family members of those people that died, I'd have that father's ass in a sling. I really would. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
Well, I think it's a touchy subject. And it's hard to say what's right and what's wrong. Actually, the drug that a prescription drug that he was on it was kind of like a methadone or whatever. It wasn't methadone, but it was one of those drugs that's supposed to help you quit doing some narcotic. And it does have a history of making people very violent.
What is that?
Now, I know the name. It starts with S. I forget. I read about it, but yeah. But
Something like that. I think it's like Suboxone or something.
yeah, something. But anyway, it's hard to. We don't know what the family unit was for somebody to think, well, my son's a little bit off here, whatever, because the parents may be off. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I was talking to a guy at work about this. This basically boils down to moral decay of America. And I don't know how you're going to legislate that, how you're going to fix that, because these kids, I seriously think, now it's just my opinion, I don't know, because I'm not in that situation, but our generation, us guys here on this panel, we're all somewhere in the close range of age. The way we were raised and the way these kids are raised now is probably why they wasn't school shootings when we were growing up, because the way we were raised, I'm not saying we were all raised great, but there were still morals and consequences for fucking up. These kids today, they don't have any, they screw up, parents don't give a shit, they drop out of school, they're on fucking drugs, and then you got that moral decay, and then you introduce psychiatric drugs or whatever, the Ritalins and Prozacs and all that stuff. It's a recipe for catastrophe, and that's what we're seeing. Now, that's just part of it, I know, but that is part of it that I don't know what we can do right now about it.
Well, TR, the drug he was on, Suboxone, is a methadone basically for Vicodin. The kid's 21. He has no injuries. Why was he hooked on Vicodin? You know, because it's right now, it's the party drug that's promoted. In my county, where I'm at right now, it's a huge problem. People get hooked on this junk, this Vicodin, and they use it as a party drug. And once they realize that they can't afford it, they switch to heroin because it's cheaper. So it boils down to, and I'm sorry, I have to lay it out there. If I came home with a cigarette, my dad and my mom would kick my ass. They didn't allow any garbage in their house. They watched me. They watched my sister. They made sure that we hung out with the right people. So it boils down to, like you said, the crumbling of morality in America. Kind of like, mom and dad are, because there are two parents have to work. They don't have enough time for the kids to watch the kids. The kids do what they want. They get, around the wrong people, whatever. Now it's even worse because now there's social media. We didn't have that when we were kids. So now there's a bigger avenue for these kids now. And it's almost like these kids gravitate towards the social media or whatever else to replace their parenting or their social standing. And this is the result. An indifference to humanity, indifference to basic humanity. It's just basic good. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm getting at with this?
What?
I know it's a little deep. I'm sorry.
No, totally. No, I'm with you, brother.
Honestly, Chad, if you said, you know what, Mom, I'm gonna go get a fifth of JD and I'm gonna have some fun, your mom would kick your ass. You don't see that anymore.
Well, back then, yeah, I totally agree. No, and it's more like you turn on the TV or throw them a game or whatever to shut them up till the next morning too.
Yeah, and what do the kids got to play with? They got these games that are all violent. These kids have the world at their fingertips that we never dreamed of having.
A lot of that shit is looked at as like cool too, especially when you got people that promote terrorism and shit in this country and
hell yeah!
Not because they're not good kids or whatever, but they think the violence is cool because that's what they know.
Right.
They don't. Maybe if you knock them in the head, really they don't, but they do because it's what's going on. Oh, that's blood, murder.
I'd say one of the first games, or at least that I was seeing, that kind of started this trend of the violence in the video games was Grand Theft Auto, where you got like points and it was cool to kill cops. I remember watching my nephews, and they were little, and they were like, "Oh yeah, kill the cop," playing the game. And I looked at my sister and I was like, this ain't really good to let your children play this.
I don't know.
And they looked at me like I was a damn fool. And now what? You know what? Her kids have dropped out of school and they're fucking drug addicts.
Let me throw this one at you, TR.
Hang on a second, Frank. What were you going to say?
I was saying the one video I seen one time, I think it was my cousin. I was over my cousin's house. It took a woman down the alleyway and pretty much, and it come back out and said something like that. I forgot what he said, but pretty much they just did their deed in the alleyway.
I'll tell you what. My daughter came to me, and they did this the last week of school, and she's 12 years old. And she says to me, "Dad, can you tell me about suicide?" And I was like, "What?" Well, suicide. We saw a movie about kids committing suicide. What? Now, here's a kid who has no idea about suicide or whatever else, but now she's been shown a movie about kids committing suicide. So now that thought is in her brain. This is something that should not be even projected to our kids. And honestly, and I don't know who it was in the external that I saw. I think it was Knucklemack. Honestly, you know, when I grew up, you went to church. You went to church, and you know there were morals, and you know, and there was a lesson that you were taught by the pastor or the priest or whoever, whatever, you know, wherever you went. But I remember as a kid that you know, you went to church and you listened to a sermon, and it was a moral kind of thing, and you know, you talked about it a little bit, or he explained a little bit about it, and when you left church, you felt kind of good and whatever. Church is gone now.
Well,
People don't go to church anymore.
No, but that's a personal, you know, that's on somebody's personal level, whether they're gonna.
It is a person, right? Exactly. But what I'm saying is, Mike, you know, when it comes to morality, you have to have
Not
that,
really. You don't.
that feeling of that.
No.
No, you really don't. I don't want to talk about religion here, okay? I'm not trying.
I'm not talking about religion. I'm saying that when you talk about the destruction of morality, you have to have a set of rules of morality. What is the foundation of morality? Bottom line, religion founded morality.
Okay.
So and I'm not bringing religion this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. What I'm just trying to say is if you don't have a sense of, you know what, there's a right, there's a wrong.
Right, but you don't need. And my point to you is that people have a sense of what's right and what's wrong, and that has nothing to do
Yeah, maybe.
with church. Okay.
Maybe.
I disagree because I hardly ever went to church. I did go to church some as a kid, probably more as a young teenager, like during vacation Bible school stuff, because they went and played putt and cool things like that. But the church didn't teach me my morals. My parents taught me my morals.
And that's my point here. You know what's happening now.
But they didn't go to church.
Mom and Dad are both working.
Yeah, but they didn't go to church. My dad never went to church.
I believe this might open up some people's eyes. There either needs to be some people that tends to church be carrying, or they need to hire somebody to make sure something like that won't happen again.
And you know that's the thing we talked about before we went live. I think T.I. you said that it is lawfully legal to do so in that state, correct?
It is, as long as you basically have permission.
Okay.
You know, if the deacons, if the church board, the preacher, whoever says, yeah, you can carry. 'Cause otherwise, it is illegal.
And the thing about that is that, let's think about this for a half a second, okay? And I have no problem with them having to go to ask either. But here's the thing. If you can't walk into your church, no, I don't give a rat's cahoot what denomination it is, it really doesn't matter, okay? You walk into your church, and you're supposed to be able to feel safe. That's where you're supposed to go to clear your head, to do all your things, to whatever, all right? You're not supposed to have to worry about being shot at friggin' church.
Well, times have changed, Mike.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
they have. Times have changed. Now those gun-free zones, those safe places, those safe havens that we all thought, you know, without question are safe, they're not safe anymore. That boils down to right going to your, local drugstore.
Well, I think that there are less shootings at a church than there are at your local drugstore, your local convenience store. Because that's usually was like, without no pun intended, it was sacred ground. And people, for the most part, because I'm going to be honest with you, in my lifetime, this is the only one that I can think of that ever happened inside of a church. So one time in the 48 years of my existence, I wouldn't consider it an ongoing problem.
Well, there's been several. It's just that
Really?
they're usually yeah. Um,
Then I stand corrected.
yeah. Many times there's been several instances where somebody was in the church that had a gun and they stopped it. Those don't hit the news. They don't go on the media.
Yeah, they don't
But
want
there's been several instances of that. But I think there has been a few church shootings, but not maybe this high profile. Um, Probably more church burnings and stuff when wasn't nobody there, but not shootings.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it is rare. I'll give you that. It's rare.
And
Yeah,
break-ins.
that don't set a law.
Except when the government does it. You know, when government kills like 83 people back in the 90s in a church. But you know, Waco.
You know what saddens me about this whole incident? What really bothers me about it is that it's being promoted as a white man who hates blacks, wants to cause a civil war. That's what's being promoted in the media. That's what everyone's looking at. And you know what? They're promoting this junk. And to someone who doesn't know me, now I'm a target. Now my daughter's a target. Now my wife's a target because they're white. And we have nothing to do with this. We don't hate anybody. I don't think anyone on this panel hates anybody. But you're all targets because of this crap. And that's what bothers me. That's
Well,
what bothers me.
it's not so much starting a race war as they just powers that be want to continually keep us divided, and this
Right.
is something they're keeping us divided on is race.
Yep.
There will never be a civil war against race in America. The black population is only 10% of America. It's 10 or 11%, something like that. I mean, seriously. It may not be in some cities, don't get me wrong, some areas, but there's not enough equal people on both sides to actually have a civil war. But they can keep us divided, and they can keep hate alive, and they can keep that going. And that's what they're
TR, I just don't understand why this is such a big deal. It's this stuff has been coming out for the past, 8 years, 7 years, 6 years. That all of a sudden, we have to be divided. It's almost like this kind of crap, how it's projected in the media. It's almost like, someone wants this to happen, and they're gonna, go on that side of it. And it was like that jogger. I'll give you a perfect example. That jogger from Australia, a couple years ago, just jogging. He was an exchange student and got shot in the back 4 times because he was white.
Yeah, and don't forget they don't have guns in Australia either, right?
Right. And his parents were, really in America this happens. Come on. Can people wake up to this?
That's just the way the state of the country is these days. I mean, it's the government don't want the people to unite together because they know once they do that, they're in trouble.
It's just, it makes me sick. It really does. I watch a report like this, and it makes me sick because I know where the mainstream media is going to push it, and it's that solid, this white male against black people. Come on.
Let me
It's just, come on. Let
me take a 2-minute break for 1 second. I want to say hello to Utah Redneck Nichols, Partisan Gorilla. Welcome, sir. Mom Slayer, how are you, sweetheart? Thank you for coming. Knuckle Mac 33. Stump, my big brother Greenwood down there in South Carolina. Jana Phelps, thank you for coming. Gear Gryden, thank you for coming. Fuzz Fork, how are you, sir? Weapons Machinist, how are you? Thanks everybody for coming. And one quick note, 2 quick notes. One, I want you guys to understand that I sent Ohio Wolverine, 4 invites, and he blew us off. Just kidding. He's working days now, so he's probably.
Ain't he the one that said something about Mike being late for his own chat?
Right.
Hmm.
So, and the other two things, one's kind of funny, and one kind of not fun. None of it's not funny, but it's just something I want to do. Let everybody know. On Friday nights when I do this chat, I haven't been setting like an end time to the chat, and I've been thinking it hasn't been really fair to do. Plus, with all the crap that's going on, anyways. But so I thought, like on this night that I started at 10, I think I'm probably going to end it around 12:15. That way, there gives somebody a chance to have an after chat, and that's how I started doing this. I did it after TR and Johnny's conundrum. Did I say it? Did I finally say it right, TR? Conundrum.
Probably said it better than me.
That's on it's on every other Friday night.
TR's a veteran, ain't he?
So tonight we're probably gonna wrap this up about 12:15 or so, somewhere in there. And the other thing is, totally off subject, totally off everything else. Before you guys see a video or a snapshot, I would like to say, yes, that was me sleeping on Jamie time the other night, and I do apologize to the 2 young ladies for doing so. You'll probably see it. You may not see it. They might be nice to me and not show everybody. But yes, that was me snoozing away.
This happened again?
Oh yeah, but this time my camera was on. So, but anyway, I just wanted to.
You ain't the only one, bro. There's been a lot of people who sleep on the chat.
I just wanted to let and once again, I'd like to thank everybody that comes in the chat. You may not comment, and that's okay. Thank you anyway. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it very much. All right, now that that's all over, all the announcements are all done. Should I just do the same old Souls thing? It's about free will. John said, "You're right, weapons machinist." Yeah, I'm not reading that one.
Come on, man.
No.
No.
Which one do you want me to read?
The out shout.
That was Mikey's shout out to Jamie time? No. I thought you wanted him to say. I thought you meant the other one, right, where he left and I fell asleep.
You had to get that plug in, didn't you?
That wasn't. Yeah, that one was funnier though.
Right. No, I know I'm not the first one, but still, it's kind of yucky to do that. I think sometimes. I don't know.
Sure, Nick does it every one of his, so you're good.
Especially on camera. But anyway.
But Nick lets people take over his. He just bows out.
Yeah. T.I., you had said prior to us going on, we were talking, you and the Fat Man, and because you guys are down there, so like you said, I'm seeing it on national news, but you guys are, like I said, you guys aren't being able to turn a channel, breathe, fart, do anything, drink a beer without hearing it, seeing it on television. Let me ask you a silly question. Do you think that the other shooting down there and this one a little connected?
No, I think this.
Not connected. I'm sorry, T. I didn't mean to cut you off. Not connected as in that way connected, but is it like a separation type thing? Is that meaning connected? You know what I'm saying? Like I think I'm saying it wrong. Shit.
You talking about? Just say this. You talking about if the cop shooting hadn't happened, this might not have either.
Yeah.
Is that what you're getting at?
Yes.
No, I think it's separate. I think this kid, because I even seen him when they was like loading him up in a car or a plane or some shit. Uh, seen him smiling. I think this little deranged kid was looking for fame, and I really think that's all it was about. He didn't want to be a martyr because he didn't kill himself, but he was looking for fame, and he evidently was in a element as far as friends or somebody that probably did hate black people. I mean, it's obvious he did,
Somebody's in his
and
head.
and so he probably views himself as a hero.
Well,
And
he got arrested without incident, so you know he didn't want to go out as in a blaze of glory. You know he did what he thought he needed to do, like you
And,
said, for fame.
and the one time, I wouldn't have a problem with police brutality is right there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
I can tell you what. There's no doubt in my mind that anyone on this
Oh
panel,
my God.
and you know, and this is the thing that bothers me about this whole racial divide thing, and this kind of thing brings it up. And I'm sure there are people in the external the same way. If you know, if a black man knocked on my door and he said, you know what, my wife and I are hungry, and I have a couple kids, you know, can you help me? I don't think there's anyone on this panel that would say no.
I don't give a rat's ass what color your skin is.
You see what I'm saying? I'm
Oh,
just what I'm trying to do is bring up a point. My point is that because we are white, we are being projected as being racist now, and I don't like that.
it's not now, dude.
Well, no, more so now. More so now.
Well, see, that's because you guys live in the South. If you guys didn't live in the South, you wouldn't have that problem.
I don't live in the South.
Well, yeah, but you said you had ties. You were born down in the South, so I'm up here in the North, you know. So,
But do you see what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You know, this is the projection.
I know what you're saying.
It bothers me, right?
I'm with you. Gimp Geek said he was a coward. He told him he was going to kill himself, and when he posed in front of someone with a gun, he folded and showed his cowardness. You're absolutely right, Gimp Geek. And you're right too. I wish he had like a tick or something on his chest, and he went like this, and the cop put one right in his chest. And now, wow, we have a newcomer to the chat. Ohio Wolverine, how are you, sir?
Damn, Ohio.
I'm trying to get set up here. I'm trying to turn on the computer and so I can watch the external and then use my phone to actually be on the chat. So let's see how that works.
Good to see you, man.
What do you think, Ohio? Church and violence. Go.
Church and violence. If churches were allowed concealed carry, we wouldn't have so much violence in churches.
Rock on. Boom. That's it.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Actually, there was a guy last year, didn't even make the news, but it's there was a church in South Carolina. There was a guy who had concealed carry and stopped a possible mass shooting at a church just last year. But you don't hear about that.
yeah, that's what I was telling Mike. I seen another one where a lady shot and killed a guy that come into a church and tried to shoot it up. I mean, I didn't tell him that particular thing, but I've seen stories before. This ain't the only time it's happened. It's just that you don't never hear about it because somebody stopped it. Yeah.
Plus, the media is biased too.
And it's
Oh, yeah.
just really, the bottom line is, it's freaking sadder than sad. And it's and the thing is that, you know, the president can say what he wants and use every executive order he has, and you know, the governor of South Carolina can do this, say that, but you know what? It's not going to stop. I mean, I said it off air. A sane, law-abiding citizen doesn't do this bullshit.
Have you guys talked about the medications he was on already?
Yes,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
you can, but so you know what I'm saying, Ohio? It's like you You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
I want.
Sorry, I didn't. I just got
It's all
home.
right. Don't worry about it.
So
But I know you changed. Relax. It's all good.
well,
Um.
my boy got to pitch. Tonight was the last game of the
Oh, really?
season, and they put my boy in to pitch the last inning. So I was pretty.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool, man.
I meant to tell you, you got to put his. And what do you have me blocked? By the way, I sent you a comment on that video and it didn't register. But anyway.
I don't know what's going on. I don't think anyone can comment on my stuff right now or something.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
I'll
know if
tell you
that's
what.
because of that strike or what.
Well, I saw the the video that you put up on about your son, and I commented that you should put it in a playlist or put it in a what do you call it? No, I'm sorry, a video library. He can watch that when he's 80. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got that
I
base.
just thought that was kind of cool. That's all I'm saying.
You know what bothers me about this also, Mike? Now we're all in a state of fear. You know? Yeah, I have a gun. I have a concealed carry. I can carry it if I want to.
Speak for yourself.
If I have to be afraid, and that's why I carry my gun, if I have to worry about a situation, I have to protect me or my family, and that's why I got to carry a gun.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that is now what's happening to our country. Where before, 30 years ago, who would think of this crap?
Well, I personally don't. I personally won't allow myself to live in fear. I just won't do it.
It's not that you're not living in fear. It's the thing is you have to think of the what ifs now, because now
No, I don't look
there
at the
is
ones.
there is no right now. It doesn't matter, if it's a church, if it's a supermarket, if it's a drugstore, a city park, a campground. It doesn't matter. Right now, we are being
what I'm saying is
we better have a gun because these situations are happening in the most weird places.
Well, like I said, speak for yourself, dude. Speak for yourself. You are not speaking for me.
I'm not speaking for you. I'm just saying that this is, this whole it can happen anywhere thing was not like this 30 years ago.
It's still always been that way. I've carried a gun since the 80s. I've seen shootings happen in Marietta, which is a small little hick town in no damn where. Violence can break out anywhere. Has it gotten worse? Yes, I will say it has.
I can tell you what.
That don't mean I live in fear.
No, I'm not saying live in fear. What I'm saying is, TR, when I would go up north every year, I go up to the UP every year. I carry a gun with me because of black bear. I don't carry a gun because I have to worry about some psychopath coming to my, campground. But now,
you should.
But now I have to rethink this whole thing.
Look this way.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me say it this way. You guys all know I can't carry a gun just yet. Okay, I live in a city. I live beside a city that isn't. It's got its great parts. It doesn't have its not so great parts. Okay, and then each and any time I go to that city, okay, I got my Spyderco on my belt, and I got a pocket knife in my pocket. I got that Eden in my pocket that I was showing the other night. The one that Fat Man seen it. He knows which one I'm talking about. Okay. Now, is that living out of fear? No, to me, it's living in smarts. In using my head, it's just. If I could carry a gun, I would have been like TI. I would have been doing it since. Let me see. I was. What are you gonna be? 18 to carry a gun? So 18 would have been 1980. Oh, whatever it is. I'm old. And I'm older than TI, so. So, you know what I'm saying? So my point is that I'd have been the same thing. I'd have been carrying a gun since then.
But truth Truth Freeze brings up a good point.
I just saw that. Go ahead. You can read it. Go ahead.
The murder rate is down. Crime rate is down.
Yep.
Our crime rate is down right now. It was worse in the 90s than it is now. The media sensationalizing this now. Of course, they don't count police brutality, so that might change things. But anyway,
Matt, relax.
really, you are safer walking down the street today than you were 15, 20 years ago.
Yes.
Even with stuff like this being blown up, and oh my God, there's mass shootings and stuff, you're still safer today walking down the street. And you're much safer walking down the street or going into a place than you are driving a car, because we still lose more people to car accidents than we do anything in America.
But Buddy Light just said it the best, I think. He says, I don't live in fear and never have. But I do live with overwhelming disgust. And I'm with you, Buddy Light, because it is totally disgusting what the hell goes on. I am with you 110%.
Yeah, I don't fear anything. I don't fear anything sitting in this chair right now. A black bear could walk through my house right now. I got 357. I'm not scared of anything.
And they're doing that too. They're getting more and more brazen.
Yeah, I got a sawed off just waiting for whatever comes in my house. I ain't worried.
There's a lot of drug abuse down there, but really a lot of people don't start with people for one reason, because they know they're carrying heat on their side, and they know that it ain't much violence down this way because of that.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of drugs and stuff like that, but down this way they know pretty much you got something on your side, and there ain't a lot of violence.
Well, it's been proven, and without a doubt, a armed society is a polite society. The most violence, I mean, even though this latest shooting happened in South Carolina, overall, the highest crime happens in the most restrictive gun cities and states. I mean, it's just a fact. You know?
Well, yeah, that, and where you also have, I'm sorry, Ohio, where you also have the majority of, your people. If you have a city of 800,000 people in the city of Boston. All right, so you get 800,000 people. Out of 800,000 people, oh yeah, you're gonna have a lot of scumbags.
Yeah. But I mean even percentage wise, you know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
My thing is, everyone's talking about these 9 people that got shot at this church.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be a hate crime or whatever it is, 9 people died in South Carolina. I would love to find out how many people died from gunshot wounds in the city of Chicago on that same day. I bet it's more than 9, but we don't hear about it.
Well, yeah, you don't, and there's reasons why you won't. Obviously, as you know, but I would say that it did. The shooting in Chicago, that even if there was 15 of them, I don't know how many there were. I'm just throwing a number out, by the way, so don't quote me on that. It didn't happen in a church, and it didn't happen, in a historical church. So I'm thinking that's why it made national news, and it was a mass shooting. So, and you and I both know that any mass shooting, no matter, it could be in frickin' Topeka, Kansas, you know what I mean, or wherever. It can be in friggin', left field, Alaska. They don't care. If there's a mass shooting, it's going to be everywhere. Mainstream media. I mean, come on, you know that. They live for that shit, for Christ's sake.
Sure, it's business.
When the hell is the last time you saw a quote unquote feel good story in the mainstream media? You don't. But you don't, though.
At the end of maybe, some of them, they will do one.
I can remember when I was a kid. I mean, a little kid, 10. So you're talking the mid-'70s, late 70s. Okay. Every once in a while, you'll see a thing on the news where, like, I remember the blizzard in '78. We had a huge blizzard up here in the Boston area in southern New Hampshire.
78, the 78 blizzard, we got it too.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so they had things where kids were going out, shovel out their neighbor that couldn't, like the 70-year-old lady that lives by herself or what have you, or the 80-year-old man lives by himself that didn't have family near him or something, and people are shoveling snow. It sounds silly, okay, but you won't ever see that shit today.
Well, hold on now. I'll tell you what, Mike. When I was growing up, when I was growing up, Mike, my mom would force me to mow the lawns of the elderly people on my street.
Right, me too.
And I was like, well, I'm getting nothing out of this. She's like, you respect, they can't do it, you respect it. And lo and behold, believe it or not, I grew up with this. I'm in a sub where there is kind of an elderly section. There's like, I don't know, 20 houses. And believe it or not, they don't mow their lawns, but everyone here will do it for them. So it's still alive. It's just something you have to teach from your kids. My kids have actually taken my rider and cut about 4 or 5 lawns in the past week, just because it's easier, than a push mower. So, it is what it is. It's how you raise your kids. That's all it is. It's how you raise your kids in the respect.
Yeah, but I'm saying is you don't see it on the news.
No, you do not. You will never see it.
That's my point. Because it's not enough.
Just like the kid, bagging groceries that carries it out for the elderly man or the elderly woman to load it in their car. You'll never see it anymore.
I'm just trying to.
Even though it was a tragedy did happen, I'm not denying that. Don't get me wrong. Even though that happened, there are more important stuff that's going on it's like it gives them an excuse to ignore it. But and we don't have to get into it because even myself, I'm not very educated on it. I'm trying to figure it out. But the fast track passed a house yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah, isn't that nice? The old switcheroo.
Yeah, and the fast track has to do with it's not the TPP, but it's part of it, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It's the trade. It's part of the trade bill. This is just part of it that is classified. Most of the people that voted on it hadn't even read it. We cannot read it. And when they do pass it, it'll be classified for a minimum of 4 years. What kind of trade bill needs to be classified? And I've gotten some insight on it and some different things and kind of understanding a little bit, but still, that should have been a top story. Or at least one of the top stories. And it's just got swept under the rug.
PR, don't let a good crisis go to waste. If they're going to promote this junk to distract everybody from the real issue, which is the Trans-Pacific Partnership and the fast track, and what, how we may lose our sovereignty when it comes to trade and be subject to a global trade agreement, people better wake up to this stuff. But you see, that's the trick now. Let's throw a whole bunch of crisis, where we're all overwhelmed and we're sidetracked by these little things that go through that mean a lot, but we don't hear anything about it because the mainstream media will downplay it. How do we know? They're gonna upplay, stuff like the shooting, but they're gonna, kind of squash, this real huge thing that could affect our country in a major way.
Yeah,
You know what I'm getting at with this. I mean,
yeah.
come on. Like we're all dumb.
Me and another guy at work. Well, there's actually several of us that are very aware at work, and a couple preppers and things like that, and even one of the guys actually participates in some of the chats as far as the comment section and stuff. And so we talk about this stuff, and he's been randomly asking people at the little smoking area, do you know about the TPP? Nobody ain't got a freaking clue. They have no idea, and we'll tell them a little bit about it, and they're like, "Well, that don't sound right." And I was like, "Well, yeah, it's about to pass. You might want to start paying attention. Not being very intrusive and not being assholes about it. Don't get me wrong, because you can't wake up people that's not wanting to be woke up. And to be honest with you, there ain't a damn thing we can do about it.
Right.
Yeah,
It's going to pass. It is going to pass.
You know what bothers me about it, TR? It was already killed. And then, boom, in like within 4 days, it's back in there. How did it get back in there so quickly? You know what I mean? Usually when something is killed, it's killed for, 6 months, 8 months until they revise it or whatever. No, this is back in there like within a week.
I'm just trying to figure out why some of the Democrats are so against it, but the Republicans are for it, and Obama is for it.
Because
it
it's all
just
about
doesn't make sense, does it?
It's about big business and, who's paying them all.
Partisan Gorilla says the deal is they didn't have the votes in the House, and it has to go back to the Senate, and they won't have the vote to pass it.
It passed the House.
Trust me, all this thing is interlinked with the NSA spying and all that. Because I'm telling you what, these senators are compromised. And if you guys think, I'm being a conspiracy tinfoil hat guy, I'm not being. I'm just telling you, when the NSA is able to get dirt on any senator, they're compromised.
Well, yeah.
So whatever's going to go down now, we have no say-so because they're compromised. You sit there and you go, why would someone vote for that crap? Because they're compromised.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, it's.
They already know the next.
But people don't. But I'll play devil's advocate for a minute for those who aren't paying attention or whatever. And I don't really think they don't pay attention because a lot of people still, they're reading their papers, they're doing their online stuff. But if it's not a standout concern to them, they're not worried about it. You know what I'm saying?
It's on effect.
Well,
In the media.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Beating the hell out of that damn keyboard, fat man.
them sausage fingers.
Hell, I can't even hear it.
Well, it's not on the headlines. It's not sexy. It's not.
Right.
It's not sensational.
So in other words, people aren't going to go and look on their own either, and that's why people don't know about it. Do you know what I'm saying?
If the media was still what it was at one time, where they were trying to inform and tell the real news, it would be a headline. Right. But it's not anymore. It's on section A. It may even be in section A, but it's on page 8 down in a little bitty, corner. And so people are not paying any attention. They breeze right over it.
Yep.
If you're watching, if people's watching Fox News, that's one of the problems right there.
Well, yeah.
And I piss people off with this, and I informed somebody about this today. Fox News, over several years, not just recently, is the number 3 contributor to the Clintons. So Fox News is backing Hillary to be president.
Well,
and has backed her.
Well, is it Fox News or is it Murdoch?
Well, whoever owns Fox.
Murdoch.
Yeah.
Ted Murdoch, Tom Murdoch, whatever the hell his name is.
But if you're
Rupert
part of
Murdoch.
that
Rupert Murdoch. Thank you.
Yeah, if you're part of that company.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that. Yeah, but see, I don't agree with that. I don't agree that let's say I worked for Fox as a cameraman. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm a Clinton supporter, or because most people think it's a conservative Republican channel. That I'm a
Well,
Republican.
I
But
agree with.
they've got their agenda that they have to push on the air.
Yeah, they can't individually just say, you know what, we're going to report this and this and this, and the parent company says, hell no, you're going to do this, this, and this.
Right. No, I got that part, but I don't know. So
I was just throwing that out there for the people that think, and probably nobody in the comment section, nobody on this panel. If you think Fox News is the only place to get the truth,
exactly,
there's some truth for you. Think, eat on that.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't even have that in my list of favorites on the TV. I don't even know what channel that is.
I can't stand Fox so bad, but it pains me when my beloved New England Patriots are playing on Fox, and I have to watch them, and I just hate giving them that dime, I just can't watch Fox News. I can't Fox anything, Fox Sports. I don't like doing it. I just totally disagree with this bullshit banter back and forth between the networks, and I'm like you just said, Tia, at one point their job was to inform us on what's going on, not create and centralize, and I said that word wrong, so I'm sorry. Blow out of proportion everything else. They were our mouthpiece at one time, and they're not anymore, and that sucks. Johnny Mascot Arms, welcome. Hey, John, you want to get on? I don't know what your situation is, but if you'd like to get on, just put yay or nay in the chat box, and we'll go from there. But thanks for coming in, brother.
Well, there has to be a right and a left, a Coke and a Pepsi, a yin and a yang.
I get that.
If CNN and blah, 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 well, okay, we'll have, you know what, I would probably, and I'm not saying that they're straight up 100% of the time, and don't get me wrong, I'm just saying I would trust RTT over any mainstream media. Russian television, RT, it's just RT.
Yeah, you said that.
I watched, yeah, RT.
Got mad on your brain.
I would trust them to be a little more truthful than Fox, CNN, or any of the rest of them. And
what do you think of Drudge Report?
Yeah, I check it every day. Well, I won't say every day, but I keep up with it.
Yeah.
Because the only thing you can't trust RT is when they're reporting on Ukraine.
Russia? Yeah.
I mean, but who owns them now? I mean,
yeah. Like I said, and they're not even mainstream. You got to go online and shit to watch them. But if I am going to kind of keep up with stuff, I would lean more toward them than I would the rest of them. And I watch RT stuff. You got to watch and look at everything. Like I was just saying, the Drudge Report. Yep. The Drudge Report just reports little stories from everywhere. It might be Alex Jones, it might be CNN, it might be MSNBC or whatever. And you got to take it all in. You got to get a little piece of everything and put your own opinion in
I agree.
Lee Ralph says, I get my news from YouTube, the TR Reppin channel.
I get a lot of news from Johnny's and TR's chat. I tell you that right now.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I just kind of did a video on what he's kind of talking about. I did it in a way where it's like Tanto Blade versus regular or serrated versus people. A lot of people don't do that nowadays. They don't take it all, try it, whatever. They want to lean with that majority,
Yeah, you gotta gain your own information, make your own opinion, make your own, assumption. You may be wrong, but at least come up with a good, get your information from everywhere and come up with your own conclusion. Don't take somebody else's conclusion and just say, okay, that's the gospel.
Hi, LCJ Farms. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. And Lee Ralph.
Basically, TR, you're basically saying don't be a sheeple.
Absolutely. I mean, but I mean that goes. And like here's the thing, right? So if people say to me, like at work or something, well, if we're talking about politics or something, they say, well, Mike, I'm a Republican, whatever. That it doesn't bother me. I don't automatically, look down on them. I don't look down on anybody because I'm not up here to look down on anybody to begin with. You know what I'm saying here? So I just don't. My problem is that, and it gets back to mainstream media, they don't like us. Because I believe it's because we think, and we don't just like Frank was just saying, we don't just follow. You know what I'm saying? And I hate that. I just do. I've always hated the fact that if you stand up and you open your
Mike, though.
You're
Mike, though. The thing is media has changed. I mean, they're bought out by big money. They're being told what talking points. And if you watch every mainstream media show, they all have the same talking points. Are you kidding me? Don't tell me that's not a coincidence.
Well,
that's the agenda that's being pushed. Whatever they want to be pushed, that's what we have to.
I know we're laughing at the same thing, Fat Man. Fuzzy Fork.
Fuzzy Fork, you are something else, my brother. Oh, that is fucking funny.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon my French.
Hey, do you guys want to oblige Swansea for a minute?
Go right ahead.
Just throw our opinions out on 9/11. He's kind of interested in what the chat thinks about it.
Where are we? Let me go back to it.
He just wants to know our opinions on 9/11. If you guys want to keep it short, like as quick as you can, like 30 seconds, and we'll just go down the road and tell him what we think of it.
I have one word: thermite.
Need to do it like a presidential debate. We all get 30 seconds. And then everybody cut their mic off.
Right, hang on. That's how we're going to do it. If you guys want to do this, raise your hand.
My hand's up.
I'll do it.
All right, so this is what we're going to do. Shut your mics off. Put your mics on silent. You know what I mean? Like, click your mic on silent.
I can't, man. I'm on a phone, so I'll just sit here quietly.
Yeah, I forgot about you. All right, so T.I. is going to go over 30 seconds, so I'm going to make him go last. Actually, Frank will probably go over 30 seconds, too, so the two shortest guys are going to be... Now, where are you going? You got up, Todd. All right, I'm making you go fast. I'm going to make you go fast, my southern brother, Mr. Fat Man. What is your impression? Or is that the question? Is that the question? What's your impression of 9/11? Is that what the question read?
What are our thoughts on 9/11?
Okay. What are our thoughts on 9/11? Do you have any thoughts on 9/11, Mr. Fat Man, sir?
Mine was muted.
Okay.
There's something going on there, but only because I looked at the thing. You see that plane, that one that's all gray. It didn't look like any kind of jetliner, public jetliner. That's it. That's all I really. I say something went down.
Yep, I understand. Todd, how about you?
I think the government knew something was going to happen, but they didn't know exactly when and where. And they could have did more to investigate that and figure out how to stop what was going on there.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Cool beans. Mr. Ohio Wolverine.
I fall in the same area as Todd. I think it was perpetrated by Al Qaeda, and Bin Laden and the terrorists. It was a terrorist act. But I think our government knew about it and did nothing to stop it because they needed an excuse to go to war.
Mr. Frank, sir, digging freedom.
Well, I'm going to be a tinfoil hat on this one.
Well, don't forget, you only have 30 seconds. So
30 seconds? I'll tell you what. Saudi Arabia was involved. The Patriot Act was established because of it. You had free-falling structures that were meant not to fall for that kind of impact. They both fell in their own footprint, which is completely uncommon for it to be struck in two different areas. You have another building, Building 6, that fell and nothing hit it. So it was a complete sham. It was to take our rights away, and it was to go to war for the war machine. End of story.
okay. All right. See, notice how I went youngest to oldest. I didn't know who was older between. It was between Chad and Todd. So I just had a guess. All right, Tia, you're up, my friend.
I think our government was behind it 100%, that our government did do it. And there was involvement from other countries. And I won't even talk about Twin Towers or any of that. All I can say is do your research on the Pentagon and let me know how a full-size jet airliner made a 20-foot square hole in the side of a building without breaking the windows above the hole and went through 3 walls of concrete like a bunker missile. And if that don't get you questioning the rest of it, nothing will. No bodies, no engines, no wheels, no seats, no nothing. They said it all evaporated. All the titanium, aluminum, steel, and everything else evaporated. If you believe that, it's easy to believe the rest of it. But if that makes you question it, go question it and look into it and do your own research, because that will take days, if not weeks, to understand it.
Thank you, Tia. All right, here's my thing. I'm going with. I do understand. I understand. I like Ohio and Todd's way of belief. Now here's the thing, though, too. Because I've said publicly that that I didn't think that our government would do it. What T.I. was just referring to. And T.I. actually sent me a link that I watched. It was an hour and 7 minutes. For a guy who doesn't watch a 10-minute video, he sends me a fucking link that's an hour and fucking 7 minutes. 10 minutes, what the hell it was. And I watched the whole thing. I will say you can question, Building 7, all that. You can question all that bullshit. That you can do all that all day. So that's not the one that got to me. The one that got to me was the Pentagon. That's the one that got to me. So now, does that make me a fence sitter? Probably, but at least that's just the way it is. So that's my 30 seconds, or hopefully shorter, of how I feel or what do I think about it. Another sad day. Either way, too many
Mike. I think
people died, and another day that really pisses me off.
Mike, I think we've all been duped on that.
Yeah. Hey, driver, thanks for coming. No, definitely, we all have been.
The main thing is it should make you question our government and what went on. None of us can say what happened. There's none of us. Nobody can say, oh, this is what happened. I'm not freaking Alex Jones. I can't sit here and tell you, oh, this is what happened because I know every fucking thing. I can just say some shady shit went down. I don't trust what the government said because we have all caught them in lies about 9/11. So you're crying wolf at that point. If you're lying about this, how can I trust you on this? You know, so it just should make us question.
Right.
You know, and that's the whole point. You know, question. You know, something fishy went down. That's really all I can tell you for sure. Something fishy went down. And
All I can add to what you just said, Tr. If you believe the Warren report for the Kennedy assassination, then you're the same person that believes 9/11's story is what the government said it is.
And I've also been there.
I can't help.
TR's heard me say this a few times, and I believe so has in Chad, and I know Ohio has. I'm not what they consider a conspiracy theorist. I'm just not. However,
No, you're more of a statist.
A what?
I'm sorry.
Oh, come on.
I didn't hear what you said.
I was just messing with you. I said you're more of a statist.
Johnny Master at Arms Dunn.
He believes in the grave.
Hang on. Johnny Dunn, can you do me a favor? Can you point out the eject button in here so I can get the hell rid of Ohio? What was I going to say? Oh, Kennedy's assassination is the only conspiracy that, to me, that still to this day is phenomenal. Not that 9/11 isn't. I'm just saying, but
I just think that they was looking for a way to get back into Iraq and get their oil so they can get their hands on the oil again. And that was the way to get back into Iraq.
Hey, politically incorrect. How I
Well, remember, TR, the Capitol building in Iraq, in Baghdad, they had a mosaic of Senior Bush made on the floor. So people of Parliament, when they walked into the building, they walked on his face as a disgrace. Don't think there wasn't some motivation to go back there and remove that.
oh yeah, there's so many games and people, puppeteers pulling strings.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing that I popped into a chat here the other day, Wednesday I think it was. Not that they were really giving grief to Southern Purple One, but he made a video for y'all that know who he is, and he was talking about how the United States is doomed, and it's really, he was getting into how overwhelming the corruption and things are, and that's the same thing we're kind of talking about. I mean, the stuff that's going on, the corruption and evil doings that's going on is way beyond our government, and there's people pulling the strings. It's just, and these people don't care. I mean, I kind of got an argument. Speaking of, I mean, I hate that. I don't mean to take up your show, but I kind of got in a little bit of argument with somebody on one chat talking about how many millions of people we've killed in the last couple, 3 decades in war. You know, and I guess people blow it off. Well, it was war. You know, it don't matter. We went into countries and killed millions of women, children, innocents. If our government is willing to kill millions of innocent people for a political cause, for oil, for money, or whatever, what's a couple of thousand freaking Americans?
Right.
What's a couple million? I mean, how many million are in America?
300.
Well, they care. You know?
What was it when the trade centers went down? What was it, 4,000?
What was it?
2,000 something, almost 3,000 people.
Yeah, and according to a lot of smart motherfuckers out there, they say it needs to be done before too long.
I will tell you this. I'm not going to say a name or anything else, but when they charged Baghdad, they went to a certain spot, and all of a sudden there were 3 semis filled with gold that disappeared under U.S. guard. 3 semis.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I agree with it. I mean, yeah,
I heard that from someone that was there, TR.
yeah. I ain't saying that didn't happen. I mean, but all this is
Oh,
all
it
has.
happened, all right. It
Well,
happened.
I ain't denying that. I'm just saying it's got a lot to do with control, the petrodollar, the economy, the Fed. It goes much deeper than just stealing gold and money. I mean, there was gold stolen out from under the World Trade Center, but that's not why
Oh,
it was
hell yeah,
done.
it was. They found they found one of the armored cars like what 6 blocks away.
Hmm.
Yeah, gold ain't shit compared to like rice, something stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's all
I
a
mean,
scam. I mean, it's all a scam.
well, I mean, why did we go into Libya? Because they was getting away from the Federal Reserve and the petrodollar. They was actually going to create a central bank
Yeah,
backed by gold.
right.
You
Yeah,
know,
you can't have that.
uh, why are we enemies with Iran? I mean, because they have threatened to get away from the petrodollar, and
Well,
all
it's the
this is
same
coming.
thing. That's why Kennedy got shot. He wanted to go back to the gold standard.
Yeah, but all this is coming to a head with this BRICS and the China central bank, because as soon as these big countries, China, Russia, drop the petrodollar and start buying oil and selling oil with other currencies, look for World War III. It will probably happen because of that. They won't tell us that's why it is, but that will be because when the petrodollar gets dropped, our dollar will collapse. That's the only thing that is keeping our dollar having any value whatsoever. So as soon as they drop it, it's over with. It's I won't
Yeah.
say end game, but it'll be the beginning of the end of America.
They can't keep printing all the money they're printing and nothing to back it up. They can't
We
keep.
have $17 trillion in debt, and right now our GDP is 11 trillion. We cannot fiscally keep up.
I got that in my back pocket.
Let me hold $1.
Let me hold $1.
It will collapse. It's a matter of time unless someone gets their ass in gear and does something about it. And destroy. I mean, really. I mean, okay. It's like this. You own a house. You have a mortgage. You go, you know what? I want to have an addition to my house. I'm going to do a second mortgage. And I make a certain amount of money. Well, I can't pay for that, but I'm going to, do this or do that to try and pay for that. I'm going to use my credit cards to pay for my mortgage bill. Sooner or later, something's going to give. It's the same shit. We'll all be, carrying around wheelbarrows full of money after they, if we're lucky, because they're going to seize all our bank accounts. I mean, people forget what happened in the 1930s. FDR basically said, all gold is illegal. You have to turn in all your gold to the U.S. government.
Yeah, but they ain't
You
got to
couldn't
worry about
even
that.
use gold.
The people that matter ain't got to worry about that shit. They're still gonna be on their catamaran in Italy. So it's all
yeah.
good. It's all good.
Right. For them, it's all good. For the little man,
Anyway.
I ain't turning in nothing.
But I'm telling you, it was illegal back then. It was illegal to own gold. That's why people buried their gold. That's why that one person found, I don't know how many millions of dollars in gold and gold coins, because back then it was illegal to own it. You could not own gold.
A lot of people didn't.
And if you went to a merchant and you said, look, I have a gold coin, can we do business? He could get jailed or go to prison for even dealing with you. He was obligated to report you.
And whoever held on to them gold coins, them coins they held on to are worth a lot of money today too.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I just got back from having a smoke. Forgive me, but nicotine was calling. I don't know if people have said hello yet, but I'd like to say hello, Luke, and thank you very much for coming on with us tonight. Appreciate that, sir.
I have to say, first and foremost, great panel. Good to see you guys. Good panel on the outside, and I apologize for not seeing the invite earlier.
That's all right.
I was commenting, I was listening, and so just quickly, because you guys are having a great discussion, I agree with a lot of what you guys have said here. There's no doubt about that. TR, you'd actually mentioned something there that, basically, I agree 100%. And to further that, you guys are talking about the economy. I think that's it. The petrodollar basically collapses, and I'm wondering whether the TPP is basically something also hidden, because we still don't know what's in there completely. But I'm wondering whether or not this is a collective agreement, essentially, on trying to save some of that defeat from a collapse. And I'm wondering whether that they know this. Well, I would suggest they do know this. Even going back, let's just say 9/11, for instance, it looks as though that they were already going into Iraq. They just went in 8 months early, you know what I mean, by 9/11 taking place. But I think that also you're going to get the backing of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people's lives being affected or killed is collateral damage in the sense of greater picture, right? So if they knew that, say, let's just say that, here's the example. I'll be quick about this. If somebody comes into the president or somebody in the Defense Department and says, "Look, here's what's happening. If we don't go back in and secure this, okay, and take over here, they're going to go to a different standard. If we lose our dollar in the petrodollar system, we have approximately 3 to 5 years before this could be detrimental. Okay, we could basically suspect that the Wall Street could be affected. We could have an economic crisis that would be extreme. So here's the thing. There's a potential solution on the horizon. We hear that there may be some planes coming our way, and there might be something to that. They said, okay, if that takes place, we'll stand down. We'll let that happen. That will drum support of the entirety of America to say, we are going to go in now, and we're going to go in. It's not a matter of trying to convince the people to go back into a war. They're going to demand it, certainly. And that's what I worry about now. What is the next thing that's going to make the American people forget about rights, forget about anything else, and demand that the government goes in and does something? And then 10 years later we go, oh my God, what did we do that for? Or really, what was the cost to us in the long run? This is kind of what I wonder about, even being Canadian, certainly. I wonder
I can
what the
tell
next...
you're Canadian by the way you say it about.
Right.
Oh, you guys never met? I'm sorry. I thought
No,
you
we've
guys
met.
knew each other. Oh, I thought you did. That's why. Okay.
Yeah. No, he's playing. That's good.
Right.
But I mean, and that's just it. I look at it this way. And I think it's coming. I thought that back in 2010, 2011, I took evasive action, and I left. I left the urban environment behind. Anywhere where there was 45 minutes drive to a major city, I said, no, I don't want any part of it. And,
you know what's more? I'm going to tell you what's more ominous about this. What's more ominous about this time around than World War II was now the government wants to regulate what you can grow, the amount of water you have. They want to try to regulate through the EPA regulations on farmers, and they're trying to control all the water. So if you have a well to self-sustain, they have control over that. A pond, they have control over that. A cistern, they have control over that. So this is more ominous now. It's not like it was back in the 40s, where we all banded together and went for the common good and we fought the evil of the world. Now even though we might have that drive to battle, anyone that might want to attack us or destroy our country, we're being actually regulated and spied on. We're the enemy before we're even fighting an enemy. That's what's more scary about this whole thing.
Well, David from American Morning got into this. Excuse me. Got into this on I think the last chat I was on with Matt, And he made a lot of good points. I think all this TPP, TPA, and all this is posturing for when the collapse happens. I'm not saying it's in our best interest as individuals, but as countries and companies, corporations, this is posturing for them. So when the collapse happens, they will be a little bit better off. There again, like I say, I'm not saying it's better off for us. It's going to be better off for them. And I see this even, I think I talked about it in one of the chats one time. Anyway, the corporation that I work for, I'm not going to name it, but they are cooking the books right now. They are, I can see it, and it's a big corporation. Evidently, they are probably doing this corporate wide, cooking the books, making it look like we're making a lot of money. They are expanding, they are hiring people, but we're not putting out more product. All this, everything, I can't get into detail about it, but everything they're doing, I see them trying to drive up their stock price, posturing for a collapse so that, you know, say the business goes down 20, 30, 50%, they'll still be better off than they were if they didn't do anything. And I think this is what our country's doing. We're posturing ourselves for the collapse. I don't know what knows in a TPP, and none of us do because it's freaking classified. But it probably has to do with posturing our country, government and corporation-wise, for the collapse, so it won't, so the fall won't be so hard on them. It'll still be terrible for us, but that's just what I see.
All right, so
TR, you know what people aren't talking about too? This is a thing that keeps going back in the back burner. There are, I think we're up to 40 now, 40 deaths of the top bankers. It's almost every day you hear of a banker. I think a couple days ago, 2 bankers from J.P. Morgan all of a sudden were found dead. You see, you hear all over and over again, they're jumping from buildings, doing this or doing that. 40 top bankers around the world mysteriously are dying. And that's something to really, really watch. What's happening?
There's
That's
no
no coincidence.
give me 1 sec, because it's the bottom of the hour and we only have probably 40 minutes or so left on the chat. So I just wanted to say to the newer people coming in, that would be JQHS, hello and thank you for coming. Biddy Boo Brown, thank you. Mr. Bullet Points, always a pleasure to see you, sir. Always, always, always a pleasure. And Politically Incorrect, how are you doing tonight? And I thank you for coming. Very much appreciated. As some of you may have heard me say in the beginning of the chat, some of you may not have. I'm going to be real quick so we can get back into what we were just discussing. I'm not going to do a 4-hour chat anymore. Just can't do it. The body can't
turn into that. You know that. Mike.
Well, no, it can't. No, it can't, because I get the controls and it goes off. About 12:15 or so, we're going to pull out of here, and that's how it's going to be from now on the Quagmire. I'm not going to do no more 3.5, 4-hour chats. Just not going to happen. That, and it gives somebody else a chance, you know, to have an after chat if they like. So, but at any rate, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take up all that much time. So, but I would like to say thanks to everybody for coming. And the comments out in the comment section are flying tonight. I'm trying to keep up with them, but it's kind of hard. All great points too. So, thank you very much. All right, we can continue. I'm sorry. And I think I interrupted Todd. Todd, what were you?
I was just going to say, the stock market for the last few years, it's been on a vertical climb straight up. There's no way we can keep going straight up. It has to come down at one point, because it's been on a vertical incline for the last 2 or 3 years. And that's one of the reasons I got into buying silver and gold. That's one of the reasons. But plus, I don't like bankers either, so I don't deal with them either. There's no way the stock market can keep it up. I mean, unless somebody on the panel's a banker. Nobody on the panel's a banker, are they?
Not I.
Okay.
Not I.
I'm a firm believer in
I'm talking about
having things you can barter with.
Good.
I'm just a firm believer in having things you can barter with. You know, silver and gold's good. I think you should have some of that, but I also think you should have, you know, things that you can barter with outside of silver and gold. I think, you know, especially for people who can't afford silver and gold.
Absolutely.
You know, a bag of beans goes a long way to a starving family.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just anything. A bag of beans. I'm going to go so far as to say, you ready? Don't laugh because I'm being dead serious. Booze and cigarettes.
Yeah. Tobacco, bags of tobacco.
I'm not even joking. I'm being dead serious.
I know you are. Yeah. No.
You know, you can use anything to barter, and all depending upon who you're bartering with. All right, so you're bartering with a guy like me that doesn't drink. Booze ain't gonna get you nowhere. Okay, I smoke like a chimney, and I got something you want. Oh yeah, throw me a few cartons of smokes or whatever, and whatever the hell you got for tobacco. I don't give a fuck if it's leaf tobacco. I'll dry it and smoke it myself. Okay, but you understand what I'm saying? It's you have to know who you are bartering with, what their needs are. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't do you any good. Like I just said, it doesn't do you any good to barter with me for booze. Just like it wouldn't do any good for me to barter somebody cigarettes that doesn't smoke. Hello, I mean, you gotta, you know what I mean? But anything you can use. I believe you can use anything to barter with.
Well, you know, the rule of thumb when you know people say buy rubbing alcohol. You know, you want rubbing alcohol. I was told from a prepper a long time ago, the first thing you want to stock up on is gallons of the cheapest whiskey you can use, because you can use it as an antiseptic. You can barter with it as a drink. You know, there are multi-uses for it. Same thing like sodium bicarbonate, Arm & Hammer baking soda, you know, things like that. You know, I mean, basic things that people can use to barter with that has multi-uses for.
Yep.
And there's another little known thing. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Buddy Light just put one out there, okay? It's not an item. It's not a thing. It's a him. It's him. He wrote, I can fix almost anything. That's my barter. That could be barter. You know what I mean? You can, great point,
right.
Buddy Light, you know?
And you know what? You know what, Mike? We've had a hell of an external, man. Everyone's just throwing out great.
It's unreal. This thing is flying, and they're awesome. I really enjoyed, not that I haven't enjoyed other chats, don't understand me, but this, I don't know, just doing really well tonight, and I like saying that.
No, it's
people are getting involved.
The questions are great.
Hopefully, if you guys aren't, if you're not sub to somebody or what have you, and you like what they said, or even if you don't like what they said, but you know, whatever, you want to talk to them more, go over, see what their channel's about, check them out, and give them a look-see, and go from there. You know, same thing with the panel members. If you hear,
the best advice, Mike, that I got from a prepper was take yourself outside the box. Don't worry about when the shit hits the fan. Think about, just take yourself outside of everything and say, what do I think I need for my family to survive? What are the things I need, and how can I obtain them? If I don't have a lot of money, let's say you don't have a lot of money, what are the basic necessities you need? And that's what you need to focus on.
An EBT card.
You know, you don't have to build a bunker and all that other stuff. You know, make sure you have food. Make sure you have a way to get water. Make sure you have a way to sanitize your water. Make sure you have something in case you get sick, something that will at least alleviate that
And
basic thing. And
do
you
you
can
guys
also use those things to barter with.
do you guys ever watch? I know some people watch TV, some people don't. I particularly do, just for sports and Alaska shows and all that. Um, but there's one on there. I don't know if it's mountain people or whatever. Anyways, this is a family building a log cabin out in the middle of nowhere in Alaska, and I want to say the wife had to go to the dentist. Either the wife or the husband, one of them had to go to the dentist, and they were going to barter. They're bartering with the dentist. Okay, and here's the issue I had, because I have no problem with bartering. I really don't. I obviously. But here's the problem. The dentist come right out and said on camera, that's good that we're bartering, but I'm still getting taxed, and he still has to pay the tax on the barter. And I think that sucks, because Alaska being one of the last, quote unquote frontiers that we have, and especially way out in the remote areas of Alaska, but yet you can't escape it. They're still going to get what they want. The government's still going to take the tax money that they. You know what I'm saying? That's what's the word I'm looking for?
Bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much. But they're gonna get that cut. And one more thing, the token. I don't know if I showed you out, and if I missed you, I'm very sorry. So hello and thank you. Thank you, Fuzzfork, Alaskan Bush People. Thank you. That's the name of the show. Hey, Mr. Resist Tyranny, where the hell you been, sir? You got a
Turkey.
What do you call it? Would you like to come on, Matt, and spend the last 40 minutes with us or so? Just let me know, because I sent you one already too. But at any rate,
Speaking of resisted tyranny, did you see what he got me, Mikey?
No, let me go back to the internal so I can see it.
No, I'm showing you on the.
I know. I'm gonna click on you, buddy.
Oh, okay. My bad. All
right, do it again. Hey, T.I., do it again because I clicked on you, pal. Oh yeah, the chicken whisperer. Nice. Oh yeah, isn't that the one where you're choking your chicken?
Yeah.
Too many.
You can buy them. I'm gonna have to do a video tomorrow because he left them up. You can actually purchase them online.
Yeah, I'm not gonna wear a shirt with T.I. choking his chicken, but thanks anyway. That comes under porn, doesn't that come under some type of pornography?
I guess it could.
You'll get a strike on your channel, Mike. Be careful.
Well, oh yeah, I said that word. You're right. Go ahead, T. I'm sorry.
I was just saying. I actually, in some of my old videos, one of the roosters I had, I think I got one or two videos where I'm going up and I grabbed the damn rooster by his neck. So. And that's what the picture is, yeah. So, good play on words,
I'll tell you what, TR, I love watching those videos of you and those chickens, man. I think it's cool as hell.
T.I.'s been choking his chickens since he was 13. Damn, you've been killing chickens that long?
I'd say at least 13. Whenever I discovered it, anyway. It's like, wait a minute, wow.
Where the hell did I get that?
But like TR, for instance, the chickens. I mean, it's again, the idea, of course, of having a balance within even the chickens itself, right? Being that it's a renewable resource, and if you can identify, again, going back, going back to what Diggin had said, is that, you have to basically look at fundamentals of what's going to keep your family going, what's going to keep them alive, and so on, and to try to be as resourceful and have it renewable resources. So if it's a gardening, if it's the seeds, whether it's your livestock, what's your water, whatever that's going to be, if it's your energy that you're going to use, whether it's limited, whatever the case is. Again, TR's got the solar aspect going. So you want to take care of those basics. Once you have that, you're also going to identify what other people's go-to things are going to be. That's what you're going to want to barter with, certainly. But you've nailed it. There's pretty much, the sky's the limit, and even what was said on the outside, you know, the more resources certainly you have to offer, but the more knowledge that you have and skill, man, you are a walking barter item in some senses. But again, not everybody's going to want a gold piece. It may not be the time or the place for that particular barter. So having some versatility certainly within your supply of bartering items is going to be good. And when we talk about the economy, or we talk about the bankers or Wall Street, this is where we could talk about those people being diverse, or you know, some diversity within their investments. Certainly, it's the same thing. Not putting all your eggs in one basket. So if we see them starting to do it, it's probably a good sign that you should be starting to do the same thing, just in your personal life, certainly.
Yeah, when you see an uptake in all these ultra rich people making doomsday houses, that should give you a clue.
Yeah.
Mm.
I totally agree with what Luke's saying, and I,
Well,
said, go ahead,
I
Tia.
think I was just going to say I think kind of what he's saying is you have to diversify, and you have to. I have. I'm no expert, but I think you need to spread out what you're doing. You know, don't concentrate on one thing. I have seen people that concentrate on this one thing. This is what I'm going to do. You know, I'm going to build up a seed bank, or you know, just solar power, or just, you know, store whatever it is. I don't care. I don't think that's a wise place to go. I think you should have a little bit of everything. You may be weak in all of it, but at least you have options, and you have, because nobody knows what's going to happen. I mean, if anything, I think it's more the financial thing. But even with that, you need to have a little bit of everything. You need to spread yourself out. And I know most of us ain't got the money. We none of us here rich. We can't just, you know, build up everything. So you got to kind of hit a few basics, maybe kind of hard a little bit, but spread yourself out. Have a little bit of everything. You know, give yourself some options.
Well, you know, and that's the thing, TR. You know, you watch these shows where they promote even storable foods, and you go, you know, that's a good idea. Let me look into that. And you go, and you see 1 year's supply for a family of 3 or whatever is, you know, $1,200. You're like, damn it, boy, I can't afford that. You know, are you kidding me? And it almost like, you know, you're almost defeated when you think of that kind of jack that you got to put out to help your family out for 1 year. And that's why I say, you know, you don't have to buy storable foods from a company. You just have to think of what kind of storable foods will sustain you and help you and your family. Of course, and there was I mentioned the external. You can have all kinds of food, and you know, canned food, you know, dry goods, everything, you know, to keep your family going. But if you don't have a way to defend it, you don't have anything.
Ohio, what say you on that? On the whole thing?
What was that, Mike? I didn't hear what last part. My say on what?
On the bottom and all that stuff, and or even, you know,
I mean, bartering used to be that's how everybody did everything. That's how everybody did everything. You bartered for it. I wish you could go into a store and barter right now, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure I mean, there's like websites on Facebook and stuff in our community where it's all bartering. One of my friends that I know, he started out with a go-kart, bartered it off to a three-wheeler, and then bartered the three-wheeler and got some tools, and you know, he just kept upping his barter more and more and more, and you know, and he eventually bartered up to an old pickup truck, you know. And there's things out there, but they're frowned upon when it comes to the government because guess what? They're not getting their taxes on stuff.
Yep. Right, and and there's so many things like we said about so many things you need that you can use to barter. And like Mountain Man 1478 says, barter items: bath soap, chapstick, wet wipes, dish soap, any other small scale medical items, and water filters like the light straw water purification tabs. All that stuff, unreal, you know.
But when you're talking, shit hits the fan or something like that, bartering with people, I honestly think it's dangerous.
Well,
I mean, you're going to barter away something that you're using, something that you need, for something. What's going to stop them from just killing you and taking your stuff?
Well,
I think bartering could be dangerous in the shit hits the fan situation.
Yeah, most definitely. But if you were bartering with somebody, wouldn't you barter something that you may not? Again, like I said, you may not. If let's say you itemized, you put what the list of things you have, and you itemize it in list of importance or list of need, right? So let's say just to argue, let's say you have 20 things, right? And so you gave that person number 20, and you know what I'm saying here. So it wasn't like number 20 is not really a wicked bad necessity for you, and you bartered it with somebody for something you really needed. Matt says when you're talking about necessities, it's hard. I gotta go back to it because it's jumping. These comments are flying. When you're talking about necessities, it's not hard to create a monopoly on an item, and it can be very dangerous. Yeah.
Well, really, Mike,
like I was just saying, it's you don't. I know it's going to be dangerous, but there might be a time that you would have to barter. No, am I wrong on that, Ohio? Or is it?
You won't have to barter. You could just take. It shit hits the fan, man.
That's right, baby.
Okay.
Chaos.
You're talking about going back to the Middle Ages, basically. If you have to barter, you're going back to the Middle Ages.
But if you have to kill to get what you want, you're going even further back.
Oh, of course you are. And you know what? People will kill. You know what? I wouldn't think twice about killing anybody if I got to feed my family.
Well, people right now don't think twice about killing someone for a pair of Air Jordan tennis shoes.
That's right.
So,
I mean, if I see my two daughters starving and my wife's starving, and my neighbor next door has, a butt shit of food, and I say, hey, my kids are starving, can you help me out? And he says, fuck you. You know what? 45 bullet in the head, and I'm taking your shit. Yeah, that's a story.
Chad, what were you going to say?
Huh?
Say what you were going to say?
Yeah, it doesn't even go as far as family and children. Chaos is king.
That will be your zombies.
And exactly.
And it won't be the people that's prepared. It'll be the people that's not prepared. And when their children are starving, if they think you got something that they need to survive, there will be your zombies.
Yep.
And
exactly.
As far as the bartering system, that will be after the dust settles and the killing has kind of subsided to a point.
Right.
That's the way I see it. I mean, in a true shit hit the fan, you're going to have the zombies, because after a week or two, children are starving, people are starving, they will kill to feed themselves, much less their kids.
Right.
It'll be after all that before you even think about bartering.
That's right. You got to take care of yourself in the interim, because that's when you're going to have to lay low. You're going to have to just basically hold your ground, if you've been able to secure that ground, you're going to be able to hold your ground. If you make it that long run, okay, because you were well versed in what your plan was, certainly you have good defense mechanism set up as far as your homesteading operation or whatever the case is. And let's just say you get through the first year or two, whatever the case is. Now you're in a position where you have your barter set aside. Things are going to be, again, even then, even like Matt said, and people on the panel are saying, it's going to be dangerous. You know what I mean? There is going to be some danger. People are not going to be trusting of other people. So you're going to be like, okay, and you're certainly not going to do it at your front doorstep. You're going to go out and you're going to meet people as you're walking about looking for resources of your own. Because just look this way, even when you walk, most of us people, for instance, our heads are down looking around and so on. There's situational awareness going on. But, oh, look, a quarter. You pick up the quarter. Well, there was something that basically you didn't see before. Now it's useful to you. You pick it up. We're going to go out there. You're going to carry a few items to barter with as you go about, as you're scavenging and so on. And again, just like TR said, if you're not prepared, scavenging is going to turn into not a very friendly word, but looting, and maybe in the beginning you'll have morals, because you don't have the need, you have more of a want that you're trying to fulfill. But when it comes to a need, I have no doubt people will do just about anything to satisfy the need, because, and just like was said before, already, it's not a need. It was Ohio that said it. The people are going out there and being violent and vicious to satisfy their wants. And because people have created themselves to be a victim, right? Their target.
So let me ask you this: when TR was talking about, it's not going to be obviously the person that's prepared. It's going to be the person that's going to be doing that. Do you think that there would be a possibility of bartering with a quote unquote sane person, like another prepper, somebody that somebody that did their preps, that did everything that they needed to do.
That's going to be the safest person to barter with.
Exactly.
The other person.
Right. So
because they have the same mindset.
Right. Like Matt reiterated in the chat there. I'm trying to go back. I don't want to misquote him, so.
And that would probably be one of those things that you kind of have prearranged, Mike. And I don't mean prearranged far as what you want to barter with. It's just prearranged far as, hey, that guy down at the end of the street, he's on the same wavelength, he's preparing and all that. If the shit hits the fan, I can count on him. Mm-hmm. And you develop a little bit of a friendship. You ain't got to be best friends,
right?
But you may want to develop a little bit of a friendship with them and know that, hey, we're on the same plane here. And, because your preps is something you don't want to, show off and let everybody know what you got and all that. Well, he may have something you don't. When the shit hits the fan, it's like, hey, Mikey, blah, blah, blah. You have this.
Right. And if I was down the road from TR, I might say to TR, from a distance certainly, because I know TR, because I live down the road from TR, I might say, hey, TR. And he'd be come out to the road, and he goes, what? And I go, listen, I got a lot of carrots this year. I did real good. I got a problem, though. One of my cocks isn't doing so good, right? Rooster, sorry. One of my roosters ain't doing so good. I know you're doing real good with your chickens and such. Do you think we could maybe work something out? You go, well, I got enough carrots, but I tell you what, I'm running low on salt. I got salt. Well, maybe we talk about this tomorrow at noon hour. What do you think? Yeah, tomorrow at noon's a good time. All right, very good. We'll talk about it. And I think that's kind of how that would go, right? And again, and maybe in the beginning, right? We're still going to be cautious of each other. We still mind each other, right? You do your thing and I do my thing. And again, the more and more bartering that me and TR do, the more comfortable we'll get with each other. However, his sidearm is still right there in case there's any doubt, and that'll create respect, right, towards each other too. That accountability right there. So.
Well, let me ask you guys a quick question on that. because you bring it up to my in a scenario like this, okay, like that. Do you? I know Ti, you just said you don't want to show all your preps and all that. So then your answer to this question would probably be no. You don't want to form like a quote unquote small camp with the Joneses next door and the Smiths across the street from you that are on, that prep or what have you. You don't want to do that. Am I right on that assumption?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I have good friends that I have a few people that, I mean, if you want to coin this preppers or whatever, well, I mean, I call myself prepper, whatever.
Yeah,
but I have a few friends that I do share information with. I mean, I don't hide anything from them or anything like that. I was talking more like, but they don't live beside me. But I may have some people that live nearby that I may, because there's a neighbor down below me that years ago he became a prepper, but then that was like Y2K and all that kind of stuff. But in my back of my mind, okay, I had a long conversation with him. He knows that I prep now. I know that he did prep at one time. I'm thinking if he prepped at one time, if nothing else, if he put his rice and beans and stuff up correctly, it's still good, So I have a very loose connection with him, and if the shit hit the fan, he may be somebody that I can deal with. We're kind of on that. That's more what I was talking about. Now, as far as somebody that you do become friends with or are friends with, and you're on the same mindset, I'm not saying hide that from them. If it's somebody you trust, if it's a good friend, oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, I got this, or they, hey, there's a special on such and such. Go check it out. You know what I mean? I mean that's good. Nothing wrong with that. Because you're gonna need people. You're gonna need friends. You're gonna need backup. You're gonna need allies.
Right. Matt says there's a lot of corruption and bartering, and he says he knows it's a movie, but look at Mad Max. There will end up being a small group of people, or even one person, and ends up with most of the stuff. Good point.
I guess a good rule of thumb is people are starving, don't have a barbecue.
Yeah, Fuzz Folks right, become territorial.
Cook that shit in the basement, right, Frank?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, but he's right, and people will form. It's natural. It's human instinct to form communities, right? Eventually, we will go back to that because many hands make light work, and we understand that. And people will bring something to the table that is useful, and just by nature, right? I mean, it's one of the fifth pillar of survival, of course, is companionship. So and it's one that is usually later on. It's the last one you consider in the the 5 pillars of survival. So, and it will be the last one you consider in a shift scenario as well. So again, personal safety is going to be paramount certainly, and you will be on edge. And the further you go along, and the longer you're alive, certainly in this situation, you will have every day as the history to look back onto, and your experiences will make you just that much wiser. And again, the more people that you come across that have also made it that long, there's a reason they made it that long. So that's also something to consider, right? But things will be done with caution, no doubt. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Invent a new religion, but you get everything. They'll follow you.
Oh, hail Chad. Nanner, nanner.
2-man enter, 1-man leave.
Yeah, top 5 post-apocalyptic movies. Go.
Yeah. There's a lot of good documentaries out there that you can watch that I think are pretty accurate on how it could look, certainly. Now, I know, Mike, you said you don't really subscribe to what ifs. I certainly subscribe to what ifs. I'm on the very opposite end of it. I definitely think it's important, and I think that that's one thing I would have to totally disagree with you on, is that everybody does subscribe to what ifs, even if you think you don't, because if somebody says, well, you can't use a seatbelt as an example because it's the law, and I go, Yeah, but you also understand the idea of having a head-on collision, and you think there's a possibility that might happen, and there's a possibility this seatbelt might help me. That's exploring the what ifs, and so
Right.
taking evasive
Right.
action towards it. Right. So
Yeah, no,
it,
I know when I said that.
TR might give me his 1911.
Hey, can I address resist the tyranny real quick on the outside there?
Absolutely. Come on, yo.
He says, what are you talking about? The reason I've been pushing so hard lately is for everyone to find or form a group. Well, Matt, my plan got spoiled when half of my group moved to Arizona. So
Right.
thanks a lot, man.
You moved to the heat.
Uh,
But he's right, though, about forming the group, though.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
And somebody else, I think it was Truth Freeze, said something about, cook, medic, carpenter, plumber, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he just described my wife, so therefore, you know.
Yeah, no, it's... Yeah, Pars and Gorilla says another aspect of shit hit the fan is the general state of most people's health and age. Very demanding. Do you help, or do you have to walk on?
That's what worries me a lot too, because I'm a diabetic and I have to take insulin twice a day,
mm-hmm.
and that bothers me too. I mean, plus what goes back to what TR was saying there. I mean, I got ammo, I got guns, and I got stuff to barter with, but I really don't have. I need to get more stuff on the other side too.
So your plan needs to include breaking into a pharmacy as soon as shit does hit the fan.
Well,
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's simple as that. I mean, because other people are going to be doing it too. So,
Or do it before.
I mean, there's enough people around here on the stuff that it wouldn't take long to get rid of them, I guess.
the views and opinions of the Fat Man are not the views and opinions of those on the panel at the Quagmire. Your discretion is advised.
I'm saving up on some damn pills and stuff.
Matt says it was 110 degrees inside the shop today. No fans, no AC.
Well,
You
See,
Yeah,
you, my friend, need to start working for a union. You know why? Because up here,
Oh,
in the
screw them
union- in
unions,
the
Mike.
union shops
He needs
up
to move
here,
back to Ohio. It was
when it's-
73 today.
when it hits 88, they get free soda. The union makes them bring out big ass fans and everything else.
you gotta take breaks.
You got to take a break. They force you to take a break.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
if y'all kind of mentioned movies a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many on the panel can read, but
Let me put back on you because you're going to show something.
Damn.
Go ahead, bud.
just fucking with Ohio mainly. But anyway, if you want a really, really good book about shit hit the fan,
Mhm.
this
Pat
book here.
riots. What are Pat riots?
And the New England Patriots, that's what that says.
That's Patriots for those in Ohio.
Super Bowl
And,
champions.
But I mean, it's fiction. It was actually probably first written back in the 80s or whatever. But it's about economic collapse, a group of preppers that were prepared for it, and it covers several years or whatever. But it's a really good read. Like I said, it's fiction. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, you could tell the guy was like a prepper, and from what if I'm not mistaken, he was a general in the army, I think. But anyway, it kind of makes you think. It opens your mind into different things. That, hey, you know what? I might, if you want to be a prepper, maybe I need to. Oh, I need to look at that. I need to look at that, and it doesn't sugarcoat it too bad. There's a lot of killing. There's a lot of death in it. And but anyway, it's a good book.
Another book that I'm kind of interested in, but it's kind of one of those controversy books that people are going to take the wrong way if you know you have it maybe. But is the Turner Diaries? I mean,
Never heard of it. Care to explain?
What's that? You never heard of it?
No,
The Turner. It's actually like a white supremacist that actually wrote it or whatever. But it's about government conspiracy and government takeover, and then fighting back in the local governments, and it's basically the Bible for Timothy McVeigh. You know, it's what he followed and stuff. So I mean, it's an actual published book, but it's very controversial, and a lot of neo-Nazis and the Klan and stuff like that. You know, they really push it. But I've never read it, but you know, the backstory to it, what I've seen online and stuff, and watching the truth about Ruby Ridge and stuff like that. It's just one of those interesting things that I would probably put on my list to read. But you know, it's one of those things that you got to be careful with too. I don't know if anybody out external has read it or knows anything about it or has an opinion on it.
I thought you were going to talk about 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, I like that one too. I want to see that movie.
I ain't read it. But
Matt says,
I would just rather watch porn than read about it. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing about women. Women won't watch porn, but they'll read the shit out of it.
I beg to differ.
Yeah. Okay.
Biddy Boo Brown was saying she's been buying a lot of herbal books, and then she wrote like herbal antibiotics and such. So
And stuff that you can go like get in your backyard is a good thing to know too.
that can be obviously that's very, very helpful in any type of that situation.
Yep. Making rabbit traps and everything else.
But yeah, that's totally.
Well, you know, I think, you know, the biggest thing is we have lost our sense of self-sustainability. Back, you know, my grandparents, they had their victory garden. They hunted. They canned. They did all that stuff. The average American, you say, hey, you know, do you have any canned jam? They'll look at you and go, yeah, Kroger, you know, about 2 miles down. You know, they don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the biggest problem. There's no promotion. And you would think our government would say, have a garden. We will supplement, you know, a certain amount of money for your seeds so you can have, you know, seeds so you can sustain yourself, you know. You don't see any of that.
Why would they want to promote that? You know, that's business is going downhill then.
And that
Right.
should tell you something about our government, right? That should tell you how much our government cares about us.
Rock on, baby.
They're not trying to. If our government truly cared about the national debt, about household debt, now let's not forget about household debt because that's accumulating leaps and bounds certainly as well. Somebody had said it earlier in the chat. You know, basically you just go out your credit card and you put it on there and so on and so forth. So I say, if it's going to be a collapse, you take that credit card. Now there's somebody had said it. There was Diggin that said it before. You go out there and you get a year's worth of prepared meals, for instance, right? You know what I mean? You can't afford $1,200. But think about it this way. Technically, that's an investment because you're not just going to throw that away. Now, you think about all the money you do throw away, it comes down to discipline and so on and so forth. But look at our government. They obviously don't care because they're catering to corporatism. They're catering to keeping us in this simple pot that keeps pissing on us every time it freaking there's a shake. I mean, it just spills all over the damn place. But now Cuba is a grand example. All of a sudden, there was an abandonment, and what did their government do? Instead of having massive freaking chaos go on, they urged everybody, find a plot of land, right? Find a plot of land and start growing vegetables. And after a while, they never ate so well, first and foremost. It's the idea that, you know what, everybody has it in them. If they were actually forced to do it in some sense, or encouraged to do it at the very least, this slow process could be taking place. But what are they doing? They're doing the opposite of that. And I think it was Fat Man that just said it. They're taking away all these options. Everything that takes place, they're taxing water reservoirs. Actually, I don't think it was, who else was saying that? Somebody else has said it. I apologize. I can't remember who it was. But I mean, they're taxing your water reservoirs. You can't, you know, actually I think it was Diggin that said it as well. the cisterns and everything else. Everything. They're trying to own everything and to control everything. Well, why? Well, why would they want all that control over all of the resources? Most likely because there's a problem coming, and they know it, and that's the only way. Now, somebody could say, "Oh, that's tinfoil hat, Luke," and "Oh, geez, man, you're doomsaying and all this other shit." And I go, "Call it what you will, man, but the writing is on the wall." I'm sorry, and I want to try to get as isolated as I can, just because then at least I got a chance. The way I look at it, and that's just me. That's how I look at it. And I think if I can just, because part of me says I don't worry about the people who are not prepared. They're going to extinguish themselves. They just will. They're either not going to make it, or they're going to be a victim to somebody who's stronger. But in the other instance, you do have to worry about them because they're going to be dangerous, right? Because they're going to be after you. So I say, no problem. I'm going to take myself out of that scenario. Now I have a smaller community that I have to worry about, a lot less people that I have to watch my back over, and this will alleviate a lot of those issues, right? And if I make it through the first gauntlet, I have a very good chance. Now that's, to me, is doing a risk assessment.
I completely agree. You know, the thing that worries me in the United States, we have 58 million on the government dole right now, which means all they do is sit in their home and collect a check. So the government's, you know, got basically control of them. You know, they decide how much they're going to eat, where they're going to eat, you know, how they're going to live, because they're completely dependent on the government. What bothers me about this, you know, this is socialism, basically, you know, for the common good. Everyone pays for, you know, everyone. But instead of saying, you know, we're going to give you, you know, just money to buy food, we're going to teach you how to grow food so you can support yourself too. That is actually true socialism, like you had mentioned before. There are countries that promote families to grow their own food and teach them how to can and give them the supplies to can. These people in our country, if shit were to hit the fan, they're the ones that you got to worry about.
Yeah, you know, there's my other thing is my bigger fear. Honest to God, ladies and gentlemen, my bigger fear is that it's a slow boil methodology to actually change us into just basically go along with the complying aspect and be totally dependent on the government. And if we look at the numbers, it almost looks like that's really what's happening. We don't have to worry about a potential collapse and being actually down on our luck, because they'll always be there to take care of us, because that is what the design is. They're basically setting it up so that we will be dependent on them fully, and we won't have to go out and actually fend for ourselves, because, well, they'll own all the resources, right? They control the resources, so they can say, that's okay, don't panic, we'll take care of you. However, we own you. And that's really what I think that's most likely is taking place. The TPP, for instance, you know, if you haven't heard it, go back and watch last. You know, TR had said it. It was you know, a lot of things is getting laid on the line, and some of these chats that Matt's been having with David, kind of putting things in perspective. Certainly, and a lot of people just having a real good discussion about that aspect of it. And they've been some pretty good chats, and some eye openers there. Sometimes I don't sleep well after these chats. I'll be honest with you. I don't know.
I agree with you, Luke. Actually, my biggest fear is that slow, long, hard depression, because it's not easy to get out of it, and it's not something that will create a movement. You know, because it just slowly drags everybody down, and if they get us low enough, there is no fighting back. There is no reset. You know, it's just going to keep on going, and that's my biggest fear. Even though the shit hit the fan would be horrible, at least there's a light at the end of the tunnel, or a potential. But that slow, hard depression, there ain't no getting out of that.
Before we take off, because it is getting to be 12:15, I want to say, because I know a couple of people just came in, was Dish Outdoors. Hello, Dish, and yes, I'm still awake, sweetheart. Blah Blah Tuesday, thank you for coming in. Dan Ulch. How are you, pal? Thanks for being here. So we're gonna get out of here. Does anybody on the panel wanna do wanna shout out their channel or their chats while we're still here? We'll go with T.R. We'll start with you.
Well, me and Johnny do the conundrum, and which you sometimes see some of these panel members here or there, and that's every other week. So not this Friday, of course, because it was a Quagmire this week at the same time that me and Johnny normally do. Every 2 weeks, and of course Matt's always kind enough to shoot me a link and let me be part of the Resist to Tyranny chat on Sundays. Other than that, I'm just me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. So I like, I enjoy when you guys come in and help me out with this stuff. It's really cool. And thanks a million. Todd?
Go on to the next person. Let me think about it for a second.
All right, buddy. No problem.
Let me think about it for a second.
Mr. Chad.
I'll get back to you here in a second.
All right, Chad.
Oh, go check out TR Prepper channel. Thanks for having me, Mike. Great show.
Hey,
Oh, that's what. Sorry, I had a brain fart. I was trying to think what you was asking at the start of.
I just want to know if you want to shout out your channel or Chad or.
You can go check out Todd Mitch if you like the channel. Subscribe to me. If not, just go on, I guess. I didn't mean to sound bad.
I know what you meant.
You know what I mean. Sorry, I put my foot in my mouth on that one, but
That's all good.
you know what I mean.
It's all good. Mr. Ohio Wolverine, sir.
Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask people to go check out somebody else's channel. Friend of mine, his channel is Greg D. I'll leave a link in the external.
Okay.
But he it's pretty cool. I've been getting interested in watching his videos, man. He's doing the RC drones. Those things are pretty cool. Me and the kids are thinking about getting one to play with, and this guy that I met, he's got some great videos on the drones, so I'd like to request that people go check it out. If you like what you see, go ahead and sub him up. I'm not asking you to go sub him, just asking you to go check out his videos and see what you think. And if you do like it, sub him up, because he's a pretty cool guy.
Cool beans. Absolutely.
His channel is it's Greg D, but it says White Bread 330 in his on the link, so that's what I'll be posting there.
All right, Frank.
Hey, first of all, thanks, Mike, for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
I guess what I'd like to say is, we're all family here, and everyone should know everyone's channels. Please support everyone that is either in the external or the internal. That's always appreciated. But also, remember, this is just one part of life. It's YouTube. There's a bigger part of the world out there. Don't base what you know or what you think on YouTube. Have time with your family, spend time with your family. The minute you spend more time with YouTube than you do your family, you have to check yourself. So, as much as I love all of you and appreciate being here, just think of that. It's a great way for everyone to get together and have some fun and talk about some things and have a great time, learn a lot of things. But, please don't take it as serious in life.
Well, yeah. Lastly, certainly not the leastly, is the gentleman that when I had 25 subs or 30 subs, Mr. Banter said, "Hey, go check out Mike DeLucia's channel." I says, "Oh, that was awful nice of that man to do that for me." Mr. Banter, sir.
Well, speaking of that, General Banter channel certainly is taking a bit of a change in the last little while. It's gone to the GB Survival channel. And I was known for doing shouts, and I'm probably going to be getting back into it. I've got the Google thing figured out now, certainly, and it's been revamped. And so we're probably going to start the channel back up this summer here with doing shout-outs again. And I think it's a positive way to actually expose people. And it is good. Most people know me. I'm a chat whore, if you would, to some degree, and I'm in and out of a lot of chats. Yeah, and I enjoy them. I enjoy the networking. I enjoy learning and hearing other people's opinions. To me, I like talking about the what ifs, for instance, like we've done here certainly tonight. It gives you perspectives, and every once in a while you'll learn something that you just never considered before. You go, that's something to consider. You know what I mean? Damn, and it kind of leaves you thinking for the next week, perhaps, and that's really cool. So that's just it. And I'm going to do the same thing as Ohio did, and I'm going to shout out the idea of everybody else out here, everybody on the panel. Go out. If it's a genre that you may not normally look at, go ahead and try something new, you know, and look at a different perspective, certainly. I think that there is balance, certainly. Balance in your home life, balance in the sector. You know what? I think you should pay attention to what's happening in the world. You should get more information. Validate the information you're getting that you want to take to heart and run with. Make sure that it's good information, right? Don't discount the YouTube videos, certainly, or the news for that matter, but validate it. Once you've done that, apply it to your plan, have plans, many of them, and find that balance and enjoy life too, because life does pass you by. I'll be hitting the age of 40 this year, and I can tell you it comes pretty darn quickly. So anyway, good chat, guys. Really,
it's always
thanks.
a pleasure having you on, and
I appreciate it.
You don't want to plug the ASIM chat tomorrow night at 7:30.
Most people know about it. But yeah,
I'm just
I appreciate it. No, it's it. Again, if you want to tune in to ISIM at 7:30 tomorrow night, Saturdays, do that. I'm always trying to get TR on. He's always working, but I keep saying just leave work. Don't worry about work. Just come in the panel for the night. It'd be good. And anyway, everybody's invited. Every single one of you is. Just ask for a link and you're in. So, and we'll fill that panel up and we'll have a discussion. So sometimes it's a good chat and sometimes it's mediocre, but there it is. And one more, of course, because it's another very popular one. If you're not sure of Resist the Tyranny on Sunday nights, 8 Central, check that out. Another really good chat channel. So
absolutely,
check that out. So.
Absolutely. I got one quick question for you, Luke, before you shut your microphone off. Just seeing something out in the panel, got me out in the chat room. Something about you're a penguin killer. Matt said something about you being a penguin killer, some shit like that. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just, I don't know.
Well, in the great north of Canada, it's either you or them. I like animals and so on and so forth, but it's like people. You know what? Self-selection. Do you want to step up to the plate? I'm sorry. It's it, man. You made the choice. And the penguins, look, it's you or them. I'm sorry.
As long as you're not talking about nuns, that's all.
Right. So I want to thank all of you, every one of you, everybody out in the Michelle, I just seen that you're coming in here. How are you, sweetheart? Thanks for coming. Thank you, everybody out in the chat room. Wow, the thing was really flying tonight. It was hard to keep up, but thank you very much. And you guys on the panel, much appreciated. Ohio, if you ever make me do the rundown again, you're in trouble. Because you do it better than I do. So.
Wow.
He does. And I will give a shout out to a chat, only because again, if you guys weren't here to hear me say it the first time, I'll say it the second time. I'm going to shout out a chat only because I feel guilty because I fell asleep on an on-camera Wednesday night. But
oh hell no!
Yes, I did. Tomorrow night, she didn't even post pictures or nothing, so I owe her one. So tomorrow night at 10 o'clock over on the Michelle.
Wait. There was no pitch. There was no pictures taken.
Hang on,
You can find it.
Give me a sec.
It's there.
Give me a sec. Tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, over on Michelle Just Playing's channel, there's a chat called Jamie Time for those who've never been there, heard of it, what have you. Go check that out, and hopefully you won't see me sleeping on tomorrow night. So, but now Ohio, what do you want to say, buddy?
I'm just. Is there evidence of this?
Actually, there is. If you went back, you can go back to the chat, to the, to rewatch the chat. It happens. Yes, I'm out like a light. So I embarrassed
Yeah,
myself.
well, I mean, I know it happens because it happened to me on Jammy Time. So
All right. So, but
you
anyway.
you guys shouldn't be with Tommy then, because he's notorious for that.
But
yeah, but Tommy turns his camera off, and he falls asleep with his
You
camera
guys
off.
were on camera?
Oh yeah, I was
Oh,
on camera. Dude, if you see the Jamie Time with me where I fell asleep, I went back and rewatched it, and I could just watch myself, and you could see my head nodding just a little bit, and then like you can see my eyes getting real big where I'm trying to hold them open, but really not. You know how you fight. You know how a little kid fights going to bed. That's what I look like. I look like a little kid fighting sleep, and the next thing you know, my head just dropped and I was done.
So I feel bad.
And these people talked about me like I was a dog for about 20 minutes until I woke up. Then I went to bed.
Oh my God.
My head was just a little sideways.
It was.
Just a little bit.
All right. So that's once again. Thanks everybody, and we are off.